What's up everyone and welcome to the channel. So today's video is not going to be automotive related, it is going to be woodworking related. I have this bench that you can see behind me. I picked this up for a really good deal. It was well worth buying this already built versus buying all of the materials, building it myself for the custom wall that I needed to fit in the back. So I made some modifications to this one in order to fit this wall. I still have some other work to do in my garage. But with the workbench, I found a really cool idea that I want to share with all of you and just show you the process of doing this. I've never done it before, but I think it's going to look really cool, especially for the space in my garage in fixing or basically giving some flair to this workbench. As you can tell, it has been used. There's some paint on it. I've tried to chip some of that away, but I'm not really too concerned about that. There's a dark spot here. I mean, it was used as a workbench, just throwing whatever items on it. So instead of painting this, because I don't want to wait for the paint to dry, I don't want that tackiness of placing all of my tools on the top because I will have stationary items on this workbench and I just don't want to wait for that to cure. Plus I also want to give it a little bit of a different flair and design. So the tools needed for today's video, I have a propane tank, I have the top of it of course, and I have a lighter. So we are going to do some wood burning in today's video. Now, like I said, I've never done this before. I have done it on smaller, kid wood burning kits and things like that, but never on something this large. So it shouldn't really be all that hard. We have a torch. As long as I don't catch the bench on fire, we should be good to go. So here is the before, of course, just 2x4s plywood, and it looks as a bench should. But in my garage here, as soon as I add paint to the walls, I want to give it more of that almost rustic style with the wood burning technique. So that is test number one. This is the backside of the bench. So that's all I'm going to do on the backside, since of course you're not going to see it. But look at that difference already. I've noticed right off the bat, and this might be self-explanatory, the longer you hold it down, the darker the sections will get. So I went in basically like 6 or 8 inch increments, and where I stopped and went back on both sides is where it is the darkest. So now I know for the front, I might just do one continuous strip and then come back and make some sections darker, just to give it a random pattern and a different flair. Although it doesn't look bad the way it is, but I don't think I want straight up and down with the darker spots there. So the before is just underneath that, and then the after on top. I think this is gonna look so cool, and especially doing the top sections as well. I'm going to try to do as much of the visual side of it as I can. Basically, not so much this side, it's really the front and that opposite side. With my torch relit, just gonna start on the edge there and kind of work my way. The slower you go, of course, the darker it'll get. And I'm interested to see how it's going to look on this dark piece here. So I am going to cut back. It's gonna be a little bit darker on that far left side. And I might wanna keep it a little bit lighter on this right side simply because of this dark spot. So I can have a contrast. You can see how dark it's getting on this wood. So I might wanna go a little bit faster, just try some different techniques just to see how this looks. Nothing is going to be right or perfect about this. It's just that visual design, of course, just giving it that random look. So I don't know, I'll try a few different things here just to see what'll work and what doesn't work. I think as long as I get the majority of the wood kind of burnt there, that it'll be just fine. This is gonna look so good. Oop, we're smoking a little bit. But yeah, there's a portion of it. Let's jump back to the time lapse, get the rest of this done. I'm roughly halfway with the upper section now, and even from here, it's looking pretty cool. Now, one thing that I will note that's a little bit odd to see versus the normal 2x4s, like the upright position one here, it has that cool design with all the grain lines running through it. Up top for these sheets of plywood, I haven't been able to burn these sections here. So it's interesting, I'm mainly just burning all of the lighter sections that you can see. All the darker sections are what's the actual middle here. So not sure what type of wood this is, just normal plywood really, but with the grains in it, I can't burn the darker section, but that gives it that cool character that I'm looking for. It's just something that I didn't know. I've never done this before, so it took me a little bit of time to realize that that wasn't actually burning like the middle section. So here's a look so far with the pieces that are done. Really cool to see that versus what is not done. I think this is gonna look really cool. It's a fun project, something very easy to do, just a little time consuming as far as the size of the nozzle that I have. Obviously you can get different kinds. That's what I'm working with today. And yeah, project is going very well. Nothing has caught fire yet. It's been a little bit steamy here and there, but how cool does that look? And we are all finished up. I went ahead and decided to do that to this small rack that I built. This is also going up on the wall for some more of my tools. That one looks a little bit cooler just with the amount of wood grain that is on this actual piece and what it entails here. Almost looks like a cheetah, kind of all spotted out. But the main bench is done. It looks really cool. It's a little bit darker than I thought, of course, just being more black with some of those darker spots. But I think it gives it a lot more character. You can see, especially with this piece here, the shelf that I installed, looks really nice. A lot more lighter wood than what was used up top. So maybe at some point I could always replace that with some lighter wood just to get something to match that. But there you have it, using the torch to burn wood. I had a few minor flames, nothing crazy. So just be careful, of course, you have an open flame and you're burning wood. So just be mindful of what you are doing, where you're doing it, and in a matter of a little bit of time, you can get a new look for whatever style wood structure that you have. I think it's a really cool rustic style design for any piece of furniture. But I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.